Remember that they're changing my voice. Before I bring up Jake Lang and how his failure overkills the failure of the military, the governing class, the white governing class, okay, European, American, you name it. Let me talk a little bit about some videos I'm going to make which are more important than that. For years I've been telling you in a way that is very straightforward, with no fancy terms, no intellectual jargon. I've been telling you that martial arts makes people superior to other people, to make a long story short. Okay, and there's a lot of nerds who don't do martial arts who are jealous, a lot of European royals who don't do martial arts who are jealous, and everyone's mad that I'm the top martial artist, so to speak. So I did about 5 or 6 AI searches into how martial arts improves intelligence, and I'm going to be getting to that more in some videos in the near future. And one thing I got was, quote unquote, the unique combination of physical stress and mental focus forces individuals to develop deep insights into their own behavior, the psychology of others, and tactical decision making. So it forces individuals to develop deep insights into their own behavior, the psychology of others, and tactical decision making. See how they're mad because the King of Kings, right? The throne's established in righteousness, the throne's established in martial wisdom. Martial is marital scrambled eye, Christ and the bridegroom. Okay. Martial arts training strengthens the prefrontal cortex, which is the brain region responsible for planning, self-control, and overriding automatic impulses. Now keep in mind there's a spectrum of impulses. The impulses for Jake Lang to try to prove that his race is magically what is not, mind you, superior, okay, is something that occurs in a brain that is inferior. Okay, when a brain is a martial brain that's in the divine order. Okay, the impulse to cheat me out of my right to lead is something that people overcome. So it's not enough to do martial arts. He probably does some kind of hand-to-hand combat techniques, probably calls it martial arts. One has to be in the divine order, or they're not overcoming their impulse to do something as stupid as obviously stupid and unwise and foolish and just silly as cheating me out of my right to lead. Okay, now we also have to consider what happens if they don't know about me. He probably doesn't know who I am, right? Now, what happens is we see how close they get to the next best thing. Now, the next best thing won't get you into heaven, but it tells us about your intelligence. Now, obviously, obeying the governing class is dumber than hell. Okay, so what would someone who's wise look like? Someone who is wise would be obeying God to me, and they'd probably be sabotaged almost certainly, okay? Unless there was a bunch of people obeying God to me and the government felt that it was too counterproductive to sabotage us. And so part of the proof of moral work is sabotage. Someone suffering some kind of cognitive impairment for doing the right thing. Now, if you're determined to do the right thing and you suffer some cognitive impairment, like if you were struck in the head in battle or you were gang stalked for years or what have you, what would happen is you would still be determined to do the right thing. You just show signs of cognitive impairment, and that's what we see in my videos, right? The Bible says you don't pick grapes from thorn bushes and thistles, right? Grapes or figs, you pick them from, the grapevine and the fig tree. Okay, so because of what they're doing and how they keep bending over backwards to try to confuse who is divine, it is more than fair for me to point out that you wouldn't look to white, Jew, or LGBT people when you consider their spectrums. You wouldn't look to them for leadership. You wouldn't look to them for the pinnacle of morality. You wouldn't look to them for the divine order. Okay, this is key here. And that's part of why they lash out and they play games. And it's not just the white, Jew, and LGBT. There's token minorities. They play stupid propaganda games, and that's why they want to meet in Dearborn, because it's like the right-left paradigm. It's the Muslim white paradigm. It's the racist right Zionist paradigm, and so on and so forth. There's a bunch of paradigms out there, a bunch of games they're playing because there's some kind of idiots who aren't very smart. Now, why aren't they very smart? Because they didn't come into the Royal African Falcon martial art order. Instead, they rebelled. Okay, and as people were a little bit smarter than them, they started screening them out, like it says in Isaiah 57. It's pretty straightforward.